Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Puzzled Minds podcast. Today we have two very special guests. One of them is Caesar, and the other one is Alfred. So please give them a warm welcome.
Okay, so bye. Thank y'all for having us, man. I really appreciate it. I really been hearing you guys your stuff, man. You guys are killing it, man. Definitely like all the episodes. I think it was like the last episode I listened to. I think it wasn't the recent one, but it was the one before that. I think it was like things that like hold up. I guess things that
Oh
you
yeah,
Yeah,
didn't like
it's
it
all
when
good
you were
one.
younger.
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time I was thinking, man, like all the Latinos in the world right now, like share something in common, man. And that's like when you're a kid and you grew up eating beans and rice, like you hate that as a kid.
Mhm.
At least I did. Like I remember growing up, I was like, I got to a point where I told my mom, it's like, Mom, this is enough. Like I cannot eat rice and beans breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like no way. And then
Damn.
you eat it as an adult. It's like, you know what?
It's like
Rice
that.
and beans holds up, man. You know what?
It's so good.
I
Yeah.
love this shit. Hell yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I got to tell you guys a really quick story. So when I was in school, I ate buffalo chicken and rice for 2.5 days or 2.5 years for lunch and dinner, pretty much.
Damn.
I don't know why. Like it didn't like get stale or
Water your
like
stomach.
I don't know. Maybe my taste buds are really fucked up. Like it didn't even taste it. I was just like, whatever, it's food. But yeah, I ate it for like 2.5 years, and for whatever reason, one day after that, I just was like, fuck this, I can't eat this anymore. Like I don't know why it took
Yeah.
so long. So
Yeah, the fire bologna.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it used to be a thing.
Yeah. So does it hold up still? Would you still eat it again?
oh fuck
Holds
yeah,
up.
dude.
Well, my
Yeah.
wallet says it has to.
Oh,
Make
right.
it front.
Right. Damn, when you don't have enough ramen noodles in the pantry,
Exactly.
you got to get
Exactly.
something.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So let's get into you guys' music, man. So I guess we started. How did you first get interested in music and kind of like walk us through, from point A to point B?
Yeah, man. So like I was doing music before, like growing up and like going through high school and then college and doing local shows and stuff. But like I really started to go away from it, and just because of like things that were happening in my life at that time, and I kind of like lost track of it. Like to me, it felt like I lost doing something that I love, and it's something that I want to get back into. So like a couple years pass, and I get a job, right? Like working for this company, and I'm like working on a project, and I go down to the cafeteria, right? Because I'm like, I want to be in my own space. Like I just want to hang out and just do my own work. And like this dude like sits down like the table next to me, and like he puts his MacBook down and like his beat machine and starts like making beats, and I'm like, yo, this dude is like
Was this in the
really
middle of the
nice
cafeteria? Just out of nowhere?
out of nowhere,
What the
bro. Like he
fuck?
sits right next to me, and I'm like, yo, this dude is like really, really dope. And I reached out and I'm like, hey man, like I'm working on my stuff here. And do you remember Fred?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Hell yeah. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, hey, so like you like I hear you making like the beats, and like I used to do music before, and it's something that I like always wanted to get back into doing. Like we should probably link up. And like he was all about it. Like, couple months went by, and then like I almost got to a point where like, you know what, man, like I need to start doing something and doing something that I love. Like
Yeah.
people like you get to a point where you're like, hey, I want to do something on the side. Like I got to do something, whether it's selling T-shirts or selling teacups. I don't know.
Yeah, doing
Shit,
something. Yeah, I
teacups.
feel it.
Yeah, and if like there's one thing that I do know, if anything that I do know, it's like it's making music.
Mm.
So like I reached out to him, and like he has a studio at his place. So long story short, I mean we've been making music like for over a year straight, just not really releasing stuff, just trying to
Yeah.
find like our sound. And every song we made, we just kept getting better and better and better and better. And eventually we came up with Mariachi, which comes out September 15th, here in a couple days. But yeah, we came out with that, and we're like, you know what? I think this is the one. Like, this is definitely a perfect debut song for us.
That's a cool origin story, man. Like it almost feels like one of those like '90s sitcoms where it's like random dude making beats in the middle of the
Yeah.
cafeteria. Other artists all of a sudden like, hey man, great music. Why don't we team
Yeah.
up? That's pretty cool, man.
Exactly. And it's just like when we met, it's like we were both on the same level. You know what I mean? Like at least that's how I felt. Hopefully, Fred. But
Nah, the same for me, honestly. When me and Caesar met, like it was so random. Like from my perspective, it was like I was just like doing what I normally do. I'm in my zone. I'm making beats. And when Caesar like walked up to me, he's like, yo, you make beats?" And I was just like, "Yeah, like, I mean, I'm just chilling, man. I'm just making beats." And I never expected him to say, "Yo, I do music." And when he told me like, he was trying to get back into it and get going with it. I felt inspired because I myself was, producing and, working with other artists. And I didn't feel like I was really finding anybody that I gelled with well, that I could just like sit and just make music with and, just build with. And from the first session on, like it was like instantly, like everything just clicked. Like every time he came over with, whether he bought his guitar or he didn't and he was singing, everything just made sense. And when I'd send him whatever we recorded, he's like, "Yo, that sounds so dope, bro. Like, I love it. Like, it's perfect." And I'm like, "Yo, for real? Like, you really rock with it?" So, like, for me as a producer, and just to give some like more background, like I didn't grow up producing beats or producing music. I more so was in the band, and I played the saxophone, I played drums.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. So
one-man band.
One-man band, right? Yo, I just loved instruments and I loved trying different stuff. I tried the piano, I tried organ. So how I got into producing was more so in college when, college was going okay and I wasn't graduating on time. And, I kind of was like, I need something to get back into music. And,
Hell yeah.
it just hit me that like, yo, maybe making beats is it. And, maybe producing is it. So, fast forward to now meeting Caesar and working with him, it's just been like such an eye opener, finding somebody that's like, you gel with well when you record and when you listen back to the music, it sounds good. And, other people feel the same way. So that's just been a fun experience in itself. So.
That's awesome to hear, man. So
Hell yeah.
building that chemistry. So how do you guys, so I know you guys meet in the cafeteria, you're like, hey, this guy's making beats. I like what I'm hearing so far. So how do you guys build that like teamwork dynamic? Because it doesn't matter of like showing up one day and then he knows like essentially plays the beat, you try to sing over it or rap over it, or how does that chemistry build when you guys essentially don't know each other at this point?
Let me tell you, man, Fred is so open-minded, bro. Like open-minded to the point where it's like when we first like met, like I told him, like I have this vision, that, well, not vision, but I have like this idea that when it comes to music, right, like Hispanic music or Latino music is one of the most played, genres, I guess, globally. And everyone listens to Spanish music. You can be in like any race. You can be white, black, Indian, like whatever the case is, and people like really fuck with Hispanic music because it just sounds good.
Like the universal anthem to turning up. Like I don't think you can have time listening to reggaeton. Like it's quite impossible.
Right. Like, look at like a lot. Everyone's gonna know who Daddy Yankee is or like Pitbull. You know what I mean?
Like, what about like all the Fast and Furious movies? Don't they have like a lot of like like Latino movies?
Yeah, especially the fifth one.
Yeah, that movie went from straight up like hardcore techno, like German techno while racing, to straight up out of nowhere like Pitbull and like reggaeton.
Exactly, and that's the idea, and like also introducing like English to it, so having something that people can, like, both people or both languages, can really fuck with, like Latino people like listening to English music, and it's the same way the other way around. So it thought it was pretty cool just to capture two different types of listeners, and really create our own stuff. So like when we met, like I was getting him hip to all, like I'm from Panama, like I represent Panama till I die. And so essentially, I had told him like, hey, like there's a couple really cool like Panamanian like artists that really aren't they don't get heard enough, like Panama's such a small country, and very underrated, which by the way, Panama is where reggaeton really started. everyone thinks it's Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. It is
That's what I was
Panama.
thinking about too.
All right, we're setting it straight right here. It's
Right here.
right here.
You heard it first in Puzzle Minded Podcast. Yeah. And so and he was just like he was like messaging me and sending me different songs, like, hey, like I heard this song, like, this is really dope. I'm like, yeah, that's like one of the most iconic songs in Panama. Like it you know what I'm saying? Like he was just open-minded to really understanding the culture, the Panamanian culture and the Latino culture. And that's where it was so easy to work with, like, with his talent and just being able to, to have an open mind. I think that's what was able to really help us.
So I guess this is for Fred. So Caesar mentioned that you were really open minded. So do you have like a particular sound that you have, and you kind of like branch off of that, or because you're so open minded that you kind of just start from scratch from whatever you feel and then just kind of create it like that way?
Yes, great question. Honestly, for me, yes, it's like I'm open-minded when it comes to making music altogether. So I don't feel like I have one specific sound. A lot of my friends that make beats as well or just produce together, most of them say like, yo, you have your own way of like making different style of beats. And I can make a beat that kind of like is more in the realm of Kanye and just has those strings and it really sounds big and a lot of like orchestra drums and different things like that. Or I could switch it up and work with Ceez on something that's more a Latino vibe and has that reggae tone and the drums just like make you want to dance and and just bringing those vibes. And I think what it stems from for me is like I grew up with friends from all over. Like my high school, I grew up in PG County. Shout out to PG County, Maryland. Anybody who grew up in that area, a lot of my friends were Nigerian or from Guatemala or all different types of places. So when we went to parties and different stuff, like I never heard the same type of music. It was always like something different. Or like nowadays I feel like you might hear like what's the artist name I'm trying to think about? I was gonna say Bad Bunny or different artists like that. But now it's like it's more out there. But when I was in high school, it felt like I was the only one really hearing it. So, that vibe's always been in me. So when it comes to music, it's just like approaching it with the open mind. And, when Caesar's like, yo, most of his music kind of fit the reggaeton vibe. And he's like sending me artists. I was like, well, let's do more research. Let's look at other artists that are, kind of big out there or even artists that are small and let's see what their sound is like. So I can kind of capture that sound and, that vibe. So when you listen to it, it makes you feel like you're at home.
Yeah, making music is you're recycling other music. You're building off what other people are doing. You're not really trying to be a trailblazer in a way, but you want to take what someone's doing and how, like, you have to think to yourself, how can I make this better? Like I don't want to be the next trailblazer because that's really hard to do. Chances are that's not how you're going to find success. You find success taking something that works and you evolve it. And that's what we're trying to do.
That's a good point. Yeah, because it feels like nowadays everything is just an evolution of something else we've kind of already heard. And that doesn't mean that it's not awesome. Like things are always built on, other things that have worked or, improved on. So I guess the interesting thing also as well, too, since, you're jumping into a realm of reggaeton music, is there like a particular influencer from a particular country that you guys kind of drew inspiration from? And also as well, too, like Fred, you being a black guy, or was there did you have any sort of like, I guess, anxiety with like essentially going to that realm? Because I know like Spanish people are very proud of their music. Every country always, like, especially in South America, always says like our artists are better than other artists. So you kind of jumping into that realm, was there any sort of, like anxiety being like, damn, will my music be accepted to a certain degree? Or once people like know that, oh, it came from there, was there any sort of like, I guess, kind of like resistance?
Yeah, I would say on my part, heck yes. Like on my part, for sure. Like every time me and Caesar make a song, I kind of feel some type of nervousness in a way when I send it to him after we recorded it. Or even if I'm playing him a beat and I'm like, yo, what do you think of this? I'm like, I hope this is just not too much, or I hope I'm not offending him in any way. Or like even when me and Caesar talk, he's just like telling me about his culture. Like I just try to be open-minded and not overthink it or try to offend his culture in any way, or try to appropriate the Panamanian culture. And I feel like that's something that is embedded in me from my childhood. Although I'm black, I feel like I just try to learn more about other cultures. And, I've been to China and lived in China for 2 months, and seeing what that culture is like. So I think for me, I'm always like focused on learning more about a culture. So for me, I'm like, I hope I don't step on any toes, but Caesar's like my right-hand man. So I know if I go too far, if I make a mistake or I offend somebody, he's going to step in and say, hey, yo, let's not say that. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it comes down to, is like trusting, Cedar's a good friend, and understanding that, he's going to be there to have my back if I make a mistake or something like that.
And just to piggyback off of that, like that translates to even like the creative process that we go through when recording a song. Like he'll send me a beat, and like, I'll go over it in my head or whatnot, and I'll make a song out of it. Or if we're together in the studio and we're making something, like, like I'll tell him, hey, look, like this part right here, it's too long. Like we need to cut it. Or, hey, like I feel like this doesn't belong here. Like he understands that, and he sees the vision. Like he hears it and he sees it. And then the other way around, like I can record something and I'll say, like, did you fuck with that? Like, and he'll tell me like straight up, like, like, nah, like I like the other one better. Like, okay, cool. And then the way we always like go about it, like if I record something and I think like, you know what, like maybe I can do it better, or I want to try something different, like we'll do that. And then we'll pretty much choose like, hey, like, do you like A or B? Like if we're on the same page, then if we both like A, we'll go with A. But if he likes A and I like B, then I'll keep going and try to do more takes. So that way we can find the best take where we're both on the same page,
Yeah, that's actually really cool that you guys are, try to be on the same page when you guys either like record or, produce, because having that chemistry, I think, will go a long way. For instance, like, whenever Tadio and I, whenever we record or have a topic in mind, I always have to ask him, like, do you think this would be a good topic? And he'll be like, that probably won't work out. Like we can't make material out of
There's that communication.
Yeah, 100%. And, just being that, like open, and just, the fact that you can say that, hey, this might be a little too much, just having that comfortability, I think it helps just with the creative process. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And
I think a huge part of that too is the funniest part about that is like Caesar can, flip-flop from speaking Spanish to speaking English. And, I'm sitting there during the recording process and I'm just like waiting for him to finish in shock and awe. And like, yo, what'd you say right there, bro? Like, what did you say on that
verse? Let me Google Translate that real quick.
Yeah. Google Translate the whole verse.
Yeah, it happens often. And things don't translate well. Like it'll sound weird in English. Yeah. I'll be like, bro, like this is what I'm saying, but I promise you, like it sounds fire in Spanish.
So that's something that you consciously have to be aware of, because let's say, for example, you're in the middle of a verse and you decide to split between Spanish and English. Do you have to like do a quick translate to make sure like the sentence flows well? Because if you're saying, I guess in Spanish, like you said, like Spanish tends to have a very odd translation sometimes to English. Yeah. So is it difficult to be like, okay, I just said I went to the club, but now the English verse is saying now I'm going to the liquor store, and people are like, what the fuck?
Hey man, I've been speaking Spanglish all my life, bro.
There you go. Yeah, cool.
I've been speaking Spanglish all my life, man. It's just natural. Yeah. And even so, like if I write something down or it sounds off, like I'll try doing something else, like 2 + 2 = 4, but so does 3 + 1, right? Like I try to make it a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah, respect for that quote as well too, because if you fucked up that equation, like you fucked up the whole
oh yeah,
the podcast,
man. There's times where I scratch whole lyrics, like, you know what, this verse sucks. Like I need to redo this. Like I'll come back to Fred, like sometimes, like, you know what, I need to redo this. Whatever we did last time, like I'm sorry, bro, but we're gonna have to delete it and try it again.
So how do you guys know when something is done? Because, I know I have a bad habit of like, I like to paint and, do a lot of things with cosplay. So I know my biggest weakness is that sometimes something can be done, but like, let me just tweak it real quick. And I end up actually fucking the whole thing up. So how do you guys know that like you've got something that you just need to like lay down and be like, okay, this is good. Don't touch it.
That's a good question. I think we get there when when I feel like there's just nothing left in the tank. Like if I think to myself like, or I'll ask Fred like, hey, like should I do this or is it like doing too much? And he'll tell me like, no, like that sounds dope. Like let's record and see how it sounds. See if we like it. If we like it, we keep it. If not, we scratch it. Or you know, I'll say something, or I'll maybe like sing something or rap something. And he'll say like, nah, like you know, we don't. I think it's cool without it. You know, that's kind of that. I guess that checks and balance that we need. It's just that trust that that what we're doing is enough. You know, I remember like I think before when we were working on Mariachi, before we sent it to the mixing engineer, we were trying to tweak it a little bit and try to find something different, or an alternative. I think it was the 808s, right?
Yeah, the 808.
Yeah, it was the 808. So, like, he was like delaying sending it to the engineer because he's trying to look for that right sound. And he calls me. He's like, "Bro, like, I can't find that sound that we think we're gonna find." You know, like. Yeah. I think it like if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like there's like if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, like it was that kind of situation. And at that point, we're just like, yeah, bro, like that sounds fire. Like we don't need to do anything else with it. Let's just finish this thing up.
Yeah, I think with that too, it's just like trusting yourself, trusting your ear. Like especially as an engineer or as an artist doing music, like you gotta trust yourself sometimes and just say like, I think that was good enough. Like. You know, you can tell and you have a feeling when you like feel it and it's like, that doesn't hit me the same as something I did prior. But when you start trusting yourself and you jump from being like the person performing the music as the artist to being the listener, I think that's when you start to understand, like you jump out of yourself and say, hey, like, how would this sound on the other end? And that's what I try to do sometimes, like after Ceez records a verse or a hook, I try not to like listen with such like I don't know, to criticize everything that he's done. Like I'm just trying to listen just for pleasure, just to see if I like it, if I like the way it feels. You know,
trying to see what sticks.
Right. You know, and a lot of it's just like that feeling, you know, because when you listen to it, if you're not going to think about, oh, how did they record this or what studio were in there? And you're just thinking about how it makes you feel. You know,
very true.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
The vibe is exactly what we feel. I'm not listening to imperfections. I'm listening to like it doesn't make me want to go out and turn up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how did the business side come along? Oh no, sorry. Go ahead, John.
So I was going to say, like, you know, like you guys were talking about how you guys just got to trust yourself and like how you know, if it works, it works. You know, I guess whenever we have to record and stuff like that, we're just some episodes I'm like, oh man, I don't know if that was like if it was long enough. Did we hit everything? And it turns out it's like one of our like best episodes. It's just a very weird thing to be like, oh man, I don't know if this is good enough. Like you're always going to be like, damn man, like that episode we could have said a lot more shit. But at the end of the day, like I realized this after a few episodes. I'm just like, look, you do what you got to do, and you know whatever you put out, just know that you did your best. And I think you just have to go with that, you know.
Exactly. I'm sure like everyone out there like wants to go back and maybe do something, like tweak something, you know, with their previous songs. Like that process is never ending, you know. But it's like trusting, like you said, trusting yourself, like when to stop and say, you know what, like the product is good enough. Like this is more than good enough. We're good.
Yeah.
So I guess the business side of things, how did you guys start marketing? So once you guys were finished, you know, making Mariachi, what was the next step? What did you guys have to go find, you know, someone to market to, or walk us through that part?
Yeah, so like starting from the beginning, like the first, obviously just a recording session. Like it takes multiple recording sessions, of course, to try to get everything right. But then, you know, he goes through a rough mix. And then we send it over to an engineer, a mixing engineer that we work with. Shout outs to Kalen and Nachi, and he also masters the song for us as well. So those are typically the process of going through the whole thing, right? And that's the way it takes a while to get to, because you know you want to record the song, you want to make sure it sounds perfect or good, so that when you send it to the engineer, like he's the one that's really going to like he's the one that makes the big bucks. Like he's the one that's gonna make you sound professional, you know.
Yeah.
And then, was there anything else you wanted to add to that, Fred?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is the process. I think the biggest thing is like trusting your engineer on both sides. So like Caesar putting his trust in me, and then me putting my trust in our mixing engineer to say, hey, like this is how we envision it sounding, and send it to him. And then like when he sends it back, like I'm hoping that he just like took that and just built it upon it and just made it sound, better, more feel into it. So I would say that's definitely the process prior to like moving on to marketing and yeah.
And so like once we get the product, like once it's done, right, then we have to send it to our distributor. So like we had to start our distribution deal, and they're the ones who push it to Spotify and iTunes and Shazam, all these different things. And there's multiple distributors. Like you don't have to pick, like there's not just one,
Yeah.
And every distributor is different. Like they'll do different things for you. Like the one that I went through, you can actually like upload your song and it'll show up on Instagram, so you can put like your lyrics in there. Like that's pretty fucking dope. And then the second step is going through starting your publishing deal, which is just another way of getting royalties. You get your performance royalties with your distribution, and then you get your mechanical royalties with your publishing. And then after that, really, it's a free for all, man. It's fight for attention. Try to pitch to playlists. Try to get interviews. Podcasts. Like we're doing now.
Yeah.
The next step that we're working on is coming out with a music video, because again, you want to fight for attention, right? Like you want to ride that wave. So we're confident. People are already backing us up on this on the song, and they haven't even heard it yet. Once they hear it, it's gonna blow their minds, and that's just gonna keep riding that wave. Okay, cool. Well, did you like the song? Bet. Well, now we got a music video coming out, and we did that like strategically. Like in the past, I've always released like tapes or EPs or mixtapes, but no one's gonna sit there and listen to your fucking tape. Like
that's true, man. That's the thing of the past now. I don't think I know anybody that's like out there listening.
Like no one's gonna listen to that. I'm sorry. Like I went through it. Like it failed. So I'm like, you know what? Like I gotta be smarter about this. Like if I'm really gonna invest myself into this thing, and put my hard-earned money into it, I'm gonna do it the right way. So the idea is just to maximize every song, not just skipping through them, because we want to make sure that every song is heard, so that's the idea behind now working on that music video, and just continue to ride the wave.
Cool. So what was the inspiration behind Mariachi? So obviously we haven't heard it yet, but like, what was the inspiration? What was the mindset you were in when you were making the song? And when you finally finished it, like, how did you feel? Like, yo, this is it.
How'd you find that sample, Fred?
So that's the weird thing. Like, so it started with the sample that you hear in there, which is like just the horns playing, which you all, if you haven't heard it, you will hear soon.
It sounds like a mariachi band, and that's why we call it mariachi.
Oh,
right. And so I was honestly just doing research, looking up like when I mean like 60s Panamanian music and Latino music, and I was honestly at work, and I'm just like scrolling through, and I came up on this song, and I think the sample was on YouTube, and I was like, yo, what is this? And I just kept hearing the loop that you'll hear in the song. It just kept repeating, and I'm like, yo, I can sample this. Like, I know I can sample this. I can come up with something for this. So I sent it to Caesar, and I'm like, yo, I think I can do something with this. And when we get offline, maybe I can like send you guys the original song so you can hear the song in comparison.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
But yeah, like it's honestly like, it was just like hearing that loop in my head. I was like, yo, something's got to come from this. And I sent it to Caesar, and I think just from there, it was just like he could hear it, and it was just like, okay, cool. I got to start with the beat. And then from there, like, I'll let Caesar take it. But yeah, like, it was just coming up with that beat. I wanted something that was more like, just like bouncy and just made you kind of want to dance a little bit. So, and I think from there, like Caesar just took it and just like expounded upon that and like did his thing. So I'll let you like kind of what gave you your inspiration.
Hell yeah. Like as soon as he played it, like I heard the chorus, like it was just in my head, like it just popped in there. I'm like, yo, I already know what to do with this. Like this is fire as fuck. And so like with the mariachi, like the that sample playing, I'm like, yo, like this sounds like a mariachi band playing. Like we can make a twist and like make it our own, what's called a serenata, which is like pretty much like like you sing to a girl or you sing to someone, it's like a romantic thing. So it's like it's our twist. Yeah, it's a serenade, exactly. So it's like it's funny. I knew how to say it in English, in Spanish, but I didn't know how to say it in English.
Stop working.
Hey, that's that Spanglish, bro.
Spanglish.
No, but yeah, and so I was like, you know what? Like we're gonna make our own twist, like our version of it, and that's exactly what it is.
Dude, that is awesome, man. So when you finally finished the song, like tell me about the feelings that you guys had where you just believed like, yo, this is it. Like you knew that like, yo, this is gonna be the one, because I'm sure you, like you guys said, you guys were hundreds and hundreds of songs. So why did you set on this one?
Yeah, so it's funny, we like once the pandemic happened, like we had an idea of like releasing songs before the summer even started, because we're like, yo, we have a lot of cool songs that people are going to enjoy during the summer, but then fucking coronavirus hit and it just fucked everything up. We're like, damn, well, we don't even like, should we wait until coronavirus is over? Like, what the hell are we going to do, and so with Latin American Heritage Month coming up here on Tuesday, actually coincidentally the 15th, I thought to myself, well, you know what, like releasing it in September, I think like will definitely help, show that Latino pride, like I want to make sure that people are aware, and I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like I really just want to release this music because like I want to get the ball started, like this isn't something that's gonna take overnight to really be successful, like it's something we're going to work on, and then this song may not be our most successful song, like we're going to keep releasing shit, and that's just the idea. Like fuck coronavirus, like we need to start putting this stuff out there now because we're not getting any younger, and this is some really dope shit and people need to hear it. So we were just like, I told Fred, I'm like, hey man, like I'm thinking about just releasing Mariachi like sometime in September, and he's like, bet, like I'm with it. I'm like, bet, cool. And we came up with that date.
And I think for me, it was just like more so like when he told me that he wanted to do the song, like do that song, and we got the song back, it was just like mostly nerves for me. Because anything that, and I was telling Caesar, like when I first listened to it, when we got the song back from the engineer, anything that we make or like I listen to back, it's just like, is it good enough? Like we were saying before, you're just like, is it good enough? Like it sounds dope, and you send it to friends and they're like, yo, this is dope. And you're like, they're saying it's dope. I listen
especially and especially because you're investing so much money into it, it's like, damn, like I'm putting all this money into this shit, like I really hope it sounds dope.
Yeah, so I think it's a cross between excitement and then nerves, where you're just like, man, I just want to put it out and I hope people love it. So I think for me, it's just like hoping that people in the Latino community and Latin community like really rock with the song, and they're like, yo, we love the song, and in all other communities as well. And I think that's what Caesar does a great job at. It's just like bringing in both sides, because he also brings the side where he's spitting in English and giving you the English bars, and then giving you the Hispanic bars, and and giving you both sides. So I feel like no matter where you come from, you can really listen to the music and enjoy it. If it plays in a club, you can enjoy it. If it plays in the grocery store, you can enjoy it. So whatever the case, I think that for me, it's just like excitement and then nerves at the same time.
Hell yeah, same.
Yeah, so I guess that's like I like that you wanted to do it in September, just to help with like the Heritage Month and all that, and then having it just it's just, I think that's that's the best way to to not benefit, but you know what I'm saying? Like it'll help.
Yeah,
with
like
your-
promote.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I assume that what Tadee was said, you know, like they're very prideful, and so when they hear something like that, I guarantee like they'll support it and be like, damn, we got to jump on this and support this and spread that and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But
No,
I mean,
exactly, man. That's exactly the point. You know, just try to get everybody together, man, and that's exactly what I try to do with the music. Just have something so that everyone can enjoy.
yeah, yeah, I got you. Do you this is kind of going back to like the distribution thing, but is there anything like in terms of like Latin like radio stations that you can kind of like push it towards that can play it or like
Yeah. So with the distribution deal that we have, like they push it like globally, and
Oh,
that's
shit.
exactly why we chose them, because not everyone does it globally. So like they'll push it to like it's like the European markets, like what they use over there, for their streaming services. It pushes it there. There's a streaming service in Latin America called Claro Música. Like it pushes it on there too.
Hmm.
Yeah, iHeartRadio, like yeah, everywhere. They really do a good job with that, and that's why we did it.
So you said like a lot of people, like a lot of distributors don't do that. When they distribute it, do they have? I'm trying to figure out what the word is. Like, are you able to like see like where like which cities like really like fuck
stats.
with it? Yeah, like which cities like
Yeah.
fuck with it, and you can kind of like cater towards those cities to like kind of push it more, and then hopefully that it'll like pop off.
You can, yeah, with the distributor that you have, they typically offer that. Yeah, it'll show you like what cities you've been playing, like what countries, like you're hot, like you might be hot in somewhere in Europe, like you might not even be hot in the States, like somebody in like
Before you start touring, it's like you're hot
like
in Belarus. Time to
hell
go on a
yeah,
plane.
yo. There's somewhere like a clique in Nice, France that's fucking with you, and say they may not fuck with you in the States, but that's okay because you're international, so fuck it.
Yeah,
And
you can put that shit in your bio. You'd be like, yo, international star, yo.
Exactly.
And that's the cool thing about music nowadays, man. There's so many different avenues to blow up in. Back then, like 10, 20 years ago, it was always about, the record deal. Like that was the thing that everybody was going for.
Right.
But now you hear about people getting famous off of TikTok. Like
Yeah,
that
yo.
audio is just played 1,000 times over, and then all of a sudden, they're like big. Like there's this, I forgot what his name is, but there's a song called Stunning that was an audio originated on TikTok. And then now I'm hearing this dude in Spotify, and he's now like big from people using his using his song in like, funny videos. Even the other day, I heard like the guy that board in the house song.
Yeah.
That was a beat from TikTok, and it's in an Apple commercial now.
What?
Yeah, like that is
It is.
insane.
That's
like
wild.
it goes to show that there's so many different avenues to blow up in, as long as like you guys are creative as hell and you guys have the drive behind it. So I'm sure you guys are gonna be successful, and you just gotta push it everywhere. And that's the cool thing about it. You can now.
Yeah.
You don't really need that many people's, even approval or help. You just push it to everywhere and
Exactly.
crazy to think things like how people are blowing up nowadays. So
Yeah, man. It just takes a couple clicks for it to go viral. Like that's all it is, man.
You know
can
what you
go
need to
viral
do?
for anything.
You need to make a dance for your song and get that shit popping, and that way it'll pop off, and then everyone will want to do it. That's how
My
that's how
sister
that
said
TikTok
the
shit
same
works.
thing. Hell yeah. I've been scrolling. I've been messing around with it. Definitely gotta come up with something for sure.
Yeah.
be like
Hell
Drake.
yeah.
And then, yo, you'll
Like,
be famous. Yo, that shit's crazy.
You gotta get the Gen Z followers.
Exactly, man. Don't believe it can happen overnight, man. Like how people become like meme stars and all that stuff. Like if your song can literally blow up overnight.
Fucking
So-
Billie Eilish, bro. I saw an interview with Billie Eilish with her and her brother, who's her
Mhm.
producer, and they're just like, they were working on music, and they just put shit on SoundCloud and stuff like that. And like all of a sudden they wake up one morning and they're like, what the fuck? Like we're viral.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
shit.
what the hell? Yeah, it's like damn, son, it's crazy.
Yo, can you imagine that? And then you like look at like your bank account. You're like, damn, yo, I got like 3 commas in this bitch now. Look at that. man."
Bro, like what the hell, bro? Big baller.
That is the same thing. So, like, have you guys thought about even like, let's say for example, you get that milestone in terms of like, your music goes viral. Like, have you guys thought about like touring and stuff like that? Would that be something that you'd want to do as well too?
Fuck yeah, man. Hell
yeah.
yeah. Especially with this whole pandemic thing, it's really hard for you go out and really like do shows or do open
Oh,
mics
true.
even, because that stuff, like it's you can't really do anymore. So like we were thinking that once we get to a point where we can travel is try to take advantage of what we can control, which is the East Coast. Like we're so fortunate to be so close to New York and Philly, and you can even say Pittsburgh, DC, and all these other cities around that. It's just we have so much more resources than people who don't have it, who aren't close to these cities. So eventually we want to get to a point where we can start like hitting up city to city and really start promoting our stuff. And we got songs on deck, man. Like I said, we've been working for a year straight, and we're not gonna stop making music. So it's gonna keep coming.
Oh man, that is awesome, man. Well, dude, I want to thank you guys for coming on, dude. Man, is there anything you guys want to kind of like talk about promote wise? Put out some dates or something for even something singles after Mariachi.
Yeah, for sure, man. Of course, Mariachi is going to come out September 15th, 2020. Definitely go check that out. Click the link in my bio. It's Ceez del Conce for Instagram. Again, Ceez del Conce, CeeZdelconce. And hit the follow on Spotify for sure, and hit the follow on Instagram. I really appreciate it. My Twitter will be on there, and my Facebook. So really appreciate y'all if y'all hit that follow.
Yeah, we'll link that in the bio, and we'll link like Fred, do you have any work that you can kind of like link to? Like we'll link that in the bio as well, so people can check your shit out.
Oh yeah. So I have two Instagrams, but my main Instagram is my producer page, or my production page, which is King AURUM Orm Productions, King Orm Productions, and also like my personal Instagram, which is Fred the Producer on Instagram. Same on Twitter, and also have YouTube as well. If you're looking for beats, any artists on here, if you're looking for beats, DM me, hit me up. Definitely don't mind sending out some beats. And yeah, like Caesar said, we have plenty of music in the cut. Honestly, I can't wait to put out some more music soon for you guys once you hear this, and just to see everyone's reaction. So we appreciate y'all for inviting me on, and Caesar as well, for having us on the podcast, man. And I loved it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Worries, man. Glad to
Y'all
have you
keep
guys on.
killing it, man. Y'all keep killing it, man. For
Oh
real.
yeah, please,
Y'all
man.
crushing
I've been
the
listening
game,
as
man.
well.
Hell
Let's keep
yeah.
going until we get canceled, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
we maybe we'll get canceled in a few weeks. We got double standards, and
There you
We
go.
got double standards coming up. Yeah, so we're like, all right, we're about to like put the sexes at war right now. So we're like, oh shit. Well,
yeah.
it's fun right again.
I'll stay tuned for the spin-off show.
Exactly.
We were actually talking about that. We were talking about that like a few weeks ago. We were like, yo, if we get canceled, we'll just name it Not Puzzled Mind Podcast and just fucking
Puzzled Mind Podcast.
Let's fuck people's minds up.
Yeah. That's lit.
But yeah, I said, if you like this podcast, smash that like button, that follow button, wherever the fuck you listen to us. Follow us on our social media platforms: Instagram, Puzzled Minds Podcast; Twitter, Puzzled Minds Pod; and our email, puzzledmindspodcast@gmail.com, where we do encourage everyone to submit a topic that you would like us to hear and bullshit about. Last but not least, thank you again at Official Block of the Week for the weekly Instagram cover art. Other than that, everyone stay puzzled.